Hi Taurus, welcome to your August 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. It's brand new, so it needs all the help it can get. Please remember to like, to comment, and to subscribe, as well as check out my Instagram at claire.voyant.queen and my Twitter at _claire_voyant. Please remember these messages are general, so they may or may not resonate, but you can always check out your sun, your moon, your Venus, as well as your rising for more messages and more content. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you soon. Hi Taurus, welcome to your August 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Be sure to check out your sun, your moon, your rising, as well as your Venus. But please remember that these messages are general, so they may or may not resonate. If they resonate, that's amazing. That's fantastic. If they don't resonate, don't worry. You can always come back to the channel next month or check out your other placements. But let's get started. I feel like you just put me in a really good mood. I was kind of like a little bit tired before, and now I just feel really happy. So you might be going through some sort of really positive period, or you might just be making people happy around you. But for some reason, I'm really happy right now. Please tell me about Taurus for August 2020. Please tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Please tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Ooh, okay, we got two cards here. Things are not as they appear. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value. Brain freeze the universe. And there isn't a soul on the planet who doesn't crave your approval. The only difference between a friend and a foe is that you've decided where love can grow. Ho. The universe. The universe just called you a hoe. Do you believe that? That's gaggy. Anyway, things are not as they appear. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value. There isn't a soul on the planet who doesn't crave your approval. The only difference between a friend and a foe is that you've decided where love can grow. This is definitely something to do with, like, why am I getting the impression that, like, you're almost picking and choosing who deserves your love and who doesn't deserve your love? I feel like you've become really selective when it comes to those you care for and those you don't care for. Or it feels like, you might be, like, going through a period of not necessarily cutting people out, but more so a period of, like, just saying, like, maybe they weren't giving you enough time and energy. And so you were like, okay, well, this works both ways. So if they're not going to give me time and energy, then I'm not going to give them time and energy. It feels like almost like you are picking and choosing who is actively a part of your life. That's interesting. Let's pull some spirit animal cards and see if we can clarify this. Tell me about Taurus for August 2020. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Tell me about Taurus. Ooh, I'm not going to take it. Not yet. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Okay, this feels really good. Let's see. Taurus, you are the turtle. The turtle. We had someone else who was the turtle. In your partner section, we have the whale. Okay. In your emotional connection, we have the dragonfly. And in the physical connection, we have the crocodile. Okay. So there's definitely something going on with water, with feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions are massive here, especially with the turtle, with the whale, with the crocodile, how they all live in the water, right? They're all water signs. And we have the dragonfly here, which is an air sign. But even the dragonfly, with the watery background, we'll get into what the dragonfly means, but it kind of has this almost like watery nature and watery magical quality to it. So there's definitely something involving emotions that's like very, very heavy here. And, I'm getting the impression that like you are picking and choosing who you want in your emotional life. Interesting. And I'm kind of getting the impression that there's two things going on here. This is weird. I typically start on this side of the board, but I really want to start off with this whale for some reason. Your partner is the whale, right? And the whale really talks about like diving deep and then coming up, right? And it's all about like elevation in the water. And essentially, it has the ability to travel down deep, to go into the deep, 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 deep emotional recesses of our mind and of our subconscious and really bring those to light. If you notice how like everything's really dark around here, we really don't know what's going on here, but everything gets really light as we go up. It's because we're diving deep and we're almost collecting everything that needs to be collected, all of that dirty, dirty, dirty emotional work, right? And we're really bringing it to the light and we're really bringing it to the surface and we're really acknowledging it. So feels like your partner definitely has water in their chart. So they could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. You could also have a water placement being a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. But it feels like on the opposite end of the spectrum, honestly, it feels like you are doing the exact opposite. The turtle is a very like watery natured card, and it's also very earthy as well, because turtles can live on land. And essentially, it has a lot to do with the inner artist and the inner voice and our inner identity and our inner feelings, right? And so the turtle card generally relates to a lot of like artists, like painters, like musicians, like poets, like dancers, that sort of thing. It has a lot to do with like what we're keeping in under the shell. What's interesting here is that I'm really feeling like this, like almost like these like opposites really playing with each other, more so of like someone like not expressing everything underneath the shell, and then someone expressing everything underneath the shell. Almost like expressing too little versus too much, or something of that nature. It feels like, when they talk about the price of your love being high, and they kind of want you to be willing to, I want to quote that card directly, so let's look at it. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value, right? So the card is suggesting that the price of your love is actually very high right now. And it feels like it's because you're not expressing your own emotional needs. And so there's kind of this energy of expressing how you feel, right? It might be that, you are picking and choosing who gets to see under the shell and who does not get to see under the shell. And it feels like for this individual, you're choosing to actively process everything internally versus externally, like releasing it. And it feels like I'm kind of getting the impression that this person wants you, or this person's encouraging you to really pull what's like down in the deep and really bring it to the surface to really examine it. It feels like someone wants to almost pull the emotions out of you. It feels like someone's like, I'm being shown like a doctor pulling teeth. It honestly feels like the scene from Little Shop of Horrors with the doctor, you know, pulling teeth. So it kind of feels a little bit violent, a little bit aggressive, and it feels like you're like, no, 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 absolutely not. Like, I don't want to be emotional around you, or I don't want to express how I feel around you. It's kind of how it feels. And then in your emotional connection, we have the dragonfly here, right? Which is a very like, dragonflies are very like mythological animals. Because, you know, we have like the keyword being dragon here. So there's almost like this otherworldly quality, a little bit of like a prehistoric quality to dragonflies. And the way that their body is so iridescent and the way that their wings kind of like shimmer and shine, it almost produces this mirage effect, right? Where one moment, like, we almost get like, it's partially a card of like being hypnotized, but it's also a partial card of like, almost like living too deeply into the fantasy, right? It's a very emotional card, but it almost like sometimes we get lost, or sometimes we get lost in it. It feels, this is very odd. I'm getting that this dynamic is like, I feel like you know who this person is. And I feel like perhaps one moment you think you understand your emotional connection, you think you understand this person and this person understands you, and then in the blink of an eye, like, everything shifts and everything changes, right? And it doesn't feel like secure, it doesn't feel grounded. And it feels like someone's a little bit emotionally closed off, and it feels like someone's really trying to pull those emotions to the surface. Yeah. I'm also kind of getting the impression, too, that, you know, especially with this crocodile being in your physical relationship, right? Crocodiles are very, like, camouflaged, right? They kind of like, they sit and they wait, and they sit and they wait and they watch, right? And essentially, they kind of stalk their prey. They wait for their prey to get close before they make an attack and before they go in for the kill, right? So it feels like in this dynamic, it feels like there's a lot of tension. It feels like there's a lot of almost like, there's some sort of like magical overlying quality about this connection, but on the same side, on the same point, it feels like there's a lot of tension underneath the surface. It's like two very different things going on at once. And it feels like someone's almost like bubbling, or someone's almost boiling, or something like that. I think this analogy of someone pulling teeth has something to do with the crocodile, because I have a feeling that this person who's essentially pulling emotions out of you, I feel like you could snap on them at some point, you know? And I feel like you don't want to snap on them, but I feel like you also are so comfortable in your shell that you don't care to express emotions. And that's fine. But at the same time, I think the universe wants you to be a little bit more emotionally open. This is really interesting. Let's pull some tarot cards and see if we can clarify some of these. Ooh. Woof. I am a terrible shuffler. You will realize that. Tell me about Taurus for August. Ooh, gosh. There we go. This is a nightmare. It feels like my hands... I put on lotion, so that might be partially a problem. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Yeah, I'm just kind of feeling like it's so odd because when I started your reading, I felt so positive and I felt so happy. And this almost feels like a little bit like tense, feels bitey, feels like you want to bite, or you feels like you're like, you want to snap. And it's like two like opposite ends of the spectrum, right? And so I have a feeling that you're almost like very friendly and very emotional and very loving with some people, and like you're almost like unemotional, unresponsive towards other people. It might have something to do about the length of time you've known someone, but I still have a feeling that you know this person. It feels like you know this person. Tell me about Taurus. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Okay. Tell me about Taurus for August of 2020. Taurus for August of 2020. Oh, wow. Okay. These cards want to talk. Okay. Let's give it one little shuffle. Taurus for August of 2020. Okay, in your situation, what came out of the deck earlier was the Eight of Rods in reverse as well as the Queen of Rods. We'll kind of get into that in a minute, but I think I know where that's supposed to go. In your current situation, we have the High Priestess. Ooh. In your partner's current position, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. In your past connection, we have the Three of Pentacles. In your current connection, we have the King of Pentacles. And in your future connection, we have the Three of Rods. Okay. I'm noticing a couple of interesting things right off the bat. We have 2 3s on the board. So you could be dealing with some sort of third party situation, or there's a third person involved, or there's some sort of like third situation or like something third that's external to the connection or external to the relationship that's kind of making an appearance or making a factor. I'm also noticing that with the exception of the High Priestess, everything is very fiery or very earthy. You have 1, 2, 3. 3 earthy cards and 1, 2, 3 fiery cards. So you might be dealing with a Leo, Sag, or Aries, or you could be dealing with a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. And I have a feeling that you guys have water placements as well. There's not a lot of logic going on in this connection, right? There's not a lot of like mental cognition and mental processing. In fact, the mental processing that we do have is very like, it's very like shape-shifty. It's very changey. It's very like dreamy, but like dreamy, not in a good way, you know? It's almost like we're getting lost a little bit. And we need to see things a little bit clearly. But what's interesting here is that you have the High Priestess, right? So you have like your knowledge of intuition and your knowledge of like secrets and like of being a little bit intuitive, of being a little bit psychic. Like you are on point right now. So I'm kind of getting the impression that this like dragonfly energy that's kind of shifting, that's kind of changing the dynamic is almost, you have the ability to see through it is how it feels. If I feel like you know something that your partner does not. And it has to do with this connection, and it has to do with this relationship. And I have a feeling there's a reason that you are in your shell right now. It's almost like you are not expressing things. You're being a little bit secretive, but you're doing it for a reason. There's a purpose behind why you're coming up as this card. You might have Pisces in your chart. Also, in your partner's category here, in your partner's situation, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, right? And the Page of Pentacles is a very like immature energy. It's very young. It's very youthful. It really craves security. It really craves stability. But it's really not like, it's really, I always get that it's really not focused on it, or it's like really like stuck, or it's really doesn't want to move, or there's something kind of like, there's something like very detrimental to it. It feels like this person really is trying to get so much out of you. I really get the impression that they're really trying to like pull things out of you. And I feel like you do not like it. Like you do not like it at all, and you're going to snap on them. It is how it feels. It feels like someone's trying to like really get you to express yourself. It's very odd. And then in your past connection, you know, we have the Three of Pentacles, which means that you could be working with this person. You could be going to school with this person. I did say that it feels like you know them. It feels like you know them. And I feel like you've worked with them, or you've worked on a project with them, or like there's some sort of concept here of teamwork, of collaborating on something. So it feels like there's some sort of past energy of working together on some sort of larger project or some sort of larger goal. And then in the current situation, we have the King of Pentacles, which is a little bit odd to me because the King of Pentacles really suggests someone who's like very secure, very stable. I'm almost getting, I'm almost trying to pick up, it's almost like someone wants to be this King of Pentacles. Like this King of Pentacles energy isn't necessarily here, right? It could be you, Taurus. It could be you. This could be you. You could essentially be very, very secure, very stable, almost very mature, kind of at the top of your game. And you really don't want to let this person into your life. You know a lot about this person. You really don't want to let them into your life because they could fuck this up, right? Is kind of how it feels. So like there's that option. I think that's probably relevant for some of you. But I'm also really kind of getting the impression that this person here almost like wants to be this King of Pentacles, almost wants to be like very stable and very secure and very like financially driven and like things like that. But like they just aren't, right? They just aren't. It feels like it's almost like they're putting a facade on of like, I am this person, I want to be this person, but in reality, they're just this Page of Pentacles in reverse, which is someone who's very young, who's very immature, who's kind of just starting out, who really doesn't have too much to offer. So it kind of feels like there's like two things going on. Maybe they both resonate with you. Maybe one of them resonates with you. And then last but not least, we have the Three of Rods, right? And this is someone kind of waiting. This is someone kind of waiting for their ships to come in. I'm really almost getting the impression that this person or this individual is kind of solo. And it does feel like you. It feels like this person almost like wants to give you a commitment and wants to be a part of your life, but you're saying like, no, 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 no. And I feel like you know who they are and you know what they're about. And like, you're kind of making the right move here. And it feels like you're almost waiting for something even better to come in. I almost feel like this person is like trying to like get inside of you, not like in a sexual context, but like more so like get inside your brain, you know what I mean? And you're like, get the hell out, get the hell out, get the hell out. And you have like so many more things coming that are actually going to be like very, very stable and very successful. So I have a feeling like that's kind of like what you're almost waiting on. And then over here, these cards that wanted to pop out, we had, right, the Eight of Rods in reverse, which means that someone's not, things are kind of sluggish, things are not progressing, things are not moving forward. And there's really no communication here. This probably is in terms of this connection, right? There's really no passion here, no communication. Things are very slow and sluggish. It feels like it's in terms of this connection. And then we have the Queen of Rods in reverse, and this is someone who like has kind of lost their shit, right? And I have a feeling this is you. Part of me feels like the Queen of Rods upright is like this incredibly, incredibly attractive like woman. And so there's kind of this like energy of like people are finding you incredibly attractive. People want to be around you. People are attracted to your aura. But I feel like almost like this person is like this person is almost like pushing the limit. It feels like they're pushing the envelope, and it feels like they're almost going to push you, and almost you're going to kind of lash out. You're going to kind of bite. You know, it kind of feels like you're not here to play games. It's kind of how it feels. But Taurus, thank you so much for checking out your August 2020 love and relationship tarot reading. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next month. Bye, guys.